This is a hobbing machine. It's made by Pfauter. It's German made, original Pfauter, older one. We have 4 of them. I'm going to introduce you to all of them. They have names, but the original Pfauter RS00. Let's find out what they're called. So this machine is called Elk, and it's because we bought it in Elk River up north. And we've also got this machine in a nice big containment tub that also has wheels on it. Might be a little out of your view down below, see if you can get that. So anytime you have a piece of equipment, you like to have containment for it. So if this holds 10 gallons, we'd want to have 15 gallons of containment. That's just kind of rule of thumb stuff. And I also want to be able to roll this around the shop and make it a little more mobile. So that's what that's about. But as far as the hobbing machine goes, this is the operator side of the machine. Some of these buttons are broken, but there's usually some lights right here that signify whether it's on or hobbing, starting it, whether you're hobbing up or down, whether you're tangentially hobbing, and then fast motion feed to put the machine back where it belongs. And this machine will cut a full cycle. We've shown that cycle before on Instagram of it in its automated form, cutting a full cycle. The electrical cabinet's full of old relays that all still work in this particular machine, and they can show you making this full circuit. So this is the first really functional machine that we've had. This box totally has to do with the feed of how fast the hob goes up and down. And the hob is on this shaft here. We'll get another shot of it. This is where the index gears are. We'll get a shot of this in a second, but you change the gears here to make a ratio match your tooth count. So there's a series of gears in this gearbox. There are 6 total gears, a pair of reversing gears, and then 2 quadrants full of other gears. So typically the reversing gears are E and F, and then A, B, C, D for the other gears. Very standard for a universal transmission, which is a unique feature. We see it in lathes and their quick change gearbox, but it's just a super neat feature of gearing in general. You're always having to figure out these ratios to get your tooth count right, or your feed or your speed right. All right. This is the tailstock, and this is where your subject gear will go right here. And this is clearly adjustable vertically. And then this adjusts, I'm going to move over here. These adjust how far the tailstock moves in and out. These are rapids. And then there's a very fine adjust right here that adjusts very specifically how far in or out once you touch off. Say you want to make a gear with a certain profile shift, you can actually dial it in right here. So that's how that works. So I'm most fond of this machine, but it is a simple machine. It only does spur gears. I think if you're pretty inclined mathematically, you could probably make a certain helical gear, but it doesn't have what's known as the differential in it, which allows you to make helical gears intentionally with ease. Beautiful piece of equipment, fun to run, fun to set up. It's nice to cut 10, 15, 20 gears at a time, or a bigger batch if you're set up for it. It'll definitely do the production style machining. Hobber. So this is this Pfauter we call Olive because we bought it here on Olive Street, right down the street. But this one's received quite a bit of an upgrade. We've gone through all the buttons and hardware. It was non-functional electronically when we got it, so we've put a PLC in it and fixed all that up. But this machine has this shaft right here. This knob is for differential. This is what you use to make helical gears. This is what you need. This is a feed cluster for how fast the hob goes up and down. And then this is the differential. The gear quadrant cluster is missing that goes right here. And this allows you to put that slight extra half turn on the platter that allows you to cut a helical gear of a very specific angle, 30, 45, whatever. So we're going through all of these machines and finding all the common parts that we need to repair. And then this one had this interesting oiling system. So this is a one-hand oiling system. You pull this lever and it energizes and gets oil to all the right points around the machine to lubricate it. So this is actually a high-speed Pfauter, RS00 with an S on the end, S003. So it's got a nicer lubrication system, and it's got the differential so you can cut helical gears, and it also has a hob head. This hob head holds a hob right here that does tangential work. So when you have the machine on, it's not only the other hob heads move up and down, as you can tell from this accordion, chip accordion that way, but this one actually attaches to this gear cluster, and the hob that's in here moves this direction, or whatever cutting tool you're using. This setup's more commonly used for cutting worm gears, fly cutting them. That's a fly cutting arbor right there. That's Olive. So we've talked about Elk and Olive, but this is Jersey. Bought it out of New Jersey, and along with some other equipment. So this got delivered long distance, and this one is taken apart right now. So there's no hob head on it. There's a nice, beautiful spiral bevel gear over here, and some other nice instrumentation. And here is the worm, and there's a big worm gear that drives this big platen. Basically, the rule of thumb, if the hob goes around 40 times, you want the plate to go around once, and that'll cut a 40-tooth gear. That's how it works. So this machine keeps all that motion, relative motion in shape, and it's all determined by how you put the index gears in here. That's how you determine the tooth count. It's on the index gearbox. This gearbox, and the reason we wanted Jersey so bad is it not only has this quadrant here, which drives the feed up and down of this for the hob head, but it also has the differential and all that gearing. It's taken apart right now. I got Stan to help me out with that plate, but this makes this will make a helical gear, and we've got all the other equipment for it. We're just taking it apart. We've taken inventory. We're building some of this stuff new. Obviously, the control panel's out of it. We've got the electrical cabinet out of it. We've got the hob head off of it. So this one's mid-stride in reconstruction, but we now have all the parts, and this one should go together much more quickly now that we've got it set out, so we have room to work on it. But this is a much older machine than the two prior, so we're starting to get into the 50s, probably early 50s year model for this. This, they've all got serial numbers on them. They're all serial numberized, and that's how this one works. We've been doing work on this one through time, and this will be a very utilitarian machine. Already is. All right, this is our fourth Pfauter. This is the most recent purchase. This is, we call it Santa Fe because we purchased it from Santa Fe Springs. This is, we haven't talked about it on the other machines. They also have this. This is an overhead support, and this just helps add rigidity to this whole system here when you're hobbing a gear. There are some forces here that you'd like to be rigid with as much as possible, so just manual. The other machines are pretty cool. Theirs are electric. They have a big electromagnet that sucks up against this tail support. Also, this is the motor for the, it goes on the hob feed, but all this does, this is a rapid motor, and it brings the hob head back up. It's kind of heavy, so it's nice to have that gear there. Anybody that's using an old Bridgeport probably would like to have a rapid to get the knee to come back up, and there's a lot of ingenious ways to do it, but this came with it back in the 50s. This hob head is swung here in a very unusual position. This is how we acquired it, so we've just left it here for now. But it acts just like all the other machines in how it functions. This is on the tailstock here. This is the lock, so you spin it until you lock it. So once you get your once you get your measurement here, and again, this is where you would dial in to onto your gear blank with the hob. And then if you're going to do any profile shift, you can make that adjustment right here and then lock it and then do your hobbing. So that's how the tailstock works, your axial infeed. Real simple operator panel in this case. It's a real simple machine. It doesn't have the helical gear and differential in it, so this is a spur gear only machine. But it's beautifully executed. Now I've taken a fair amount of this machine apart, and it doesn't look like the way surfaces here have any type of wear. So I think something must have happened to this machine early on. The electronic panel is a disaster, and it is missing this, you can't see it here, there's another feature that goes into basically a collector ring on the gear. When you hit hob, it turns on electromagnet, and it allows it to that motor to turn and engage with the whole platter system, and it was missing when we got the machine. So we think maybe something happened to that a long time ago. It definitely had a layer of dust on it, like it was sitting in a shop for a really long time. So this one doesn't act like it's got a lot of wear on it. We're pretty excited to have this one here. Regular production machine, big batches of spur gears. This one will be able to take it out. So fourth Pfauter, we got our hands full. We're putting them all together and right here in our shop. Hey Fred, you going to Lalo's? Yeah, just give me a talk. I'm going to stay here. I got to put this back after we filmed. But nope, I'll come with you. Hold on.